Hello, 12th day of our reflective tarot reads, and it's the 8th and the 5th Sephirot on the pillar of severity. It's the feminine energy, receptive energies. So today, the Hod, we know we've kind of looked at Gevurah all week, but Hod is about splendor, glory. It's a sense of surrender, humility, gratitude. It's also about diversity, appreciation, but I often get a sense of that energy from Hod when I stand in front of a stormy sea, and you get that sense of the power and strength of the waves crashing on the rocks, and the sense of your smallness in light of that, and that you know if you fell in, you could only surrender to it. You would be dashed against the rocks. You're not going to have the strength. So it's that kind of awe, and just real awe at the splendour of nature. I get it when I look at really good skies. It gives you a sense of proportion of you against that hugeness, really, the vastness of nature. So that's the sense of it. So with our 5 of Cups, which is our Gevurah, we've said he's in a kind of reflective state. We've talked about him being a judge, but also he's, we could see him in this as suffering, from loss, or his attachments, what he's attached to, his feelings, his emotions, his judgments. There's a sense he's not surrendered to life. He's just looking down at his fallen cups. And then with Hod, that surrender, I'm going to look at that today as someone who's walking away from those attachments, whatever they are, that have caused loss, and the attachments to his lower nature. He understands that previous experience has brought him wisdom and understanding. So he's embracing with humility what life's brought. So he's embracing that stormy sea and his place in the bigger cycles of life. He's aware that there's forces at work that are perhaps bigger than him, and he's in a process. He's walking in the moonlight, so he's in process of learning that fighting what life's brought him, or remaining with that sense of loss, doesn't put him on the right path. So he's kind of taken his time to think, process, and it's still he's still in process. He's still walking in the darkness of the moon. But that lower nature and his outward ego, that sense of it's all about me, inflation, life is about me, or this feeling of victimization, it just won't allow him to find his treasures. So I see this guy as someone in process. He's on a journey, the path of the moon, to find his courage, to find his divine spark. He's trying to find what's in that process that he's just experienced, that cycle. So life is made of that sort of polarity. That's what I was reflecting on. And if we want to transmute that, we have to have that kind of humility to embrace all aspects and kind of submit to the fact that we don't have all the answers. we just don't have all the answers, that difficulties in life can't be blamed on anyone else. If we're the victim of someone, we're not responsible for that, but we're definitely responsible for the process we get into if we stay in that place of loss. If we believe that we're just victims to life or to someone else, we're going to be static. We're not going to move. But we can be responsible for our response to it. This guy has reflected and he's now up and walking. He's not looking anymore, and he's had more cups added to him from the 5. He's got those standing up, and he's now got 8. So I'm assuming he's got this acceptance, this kind of bigger picture. So he's up and moving. So he's gonna, move on. He's gonna master. He's learning the resilience of mastery on the Netzach, which is the opposite side of Hod, the outward going ego. So he's going to master that, and it will raise him up, and he'll be able to go and help and serve others with the wisdom and understanding he's found about surrendering to the experiences of life, the forces and cycles that are bigger than him. And also he may be off on his path to go and, not just heal himself, but to make right or heal the relationship or anyone else that he's damaged by being in this state. So there's this kind of, with Hod and Gevurah, it's surrendering to the experiences of life and finding your wisdom, understanding, finding your healing, going on a process of healing. The Hanged Man, which is the path between Hod and Gevurah, he's just showing that he surrendered to the dissolution of his ego. That's the path up, raising the spark. He's surrendering to that dissolution of his ego. So he's kind of hanging there. You can see he's got an illumination there. He's in the process of losing that small self to that higher self, the higher consciousness, the source. And the collective oneness. So he's in transition, the Hanged Man. He's not moving, he's suspended. And, this upside downness, this could be the middle card of these, because instead of standing there like that, he's seen. He's looked at it, he's flipped it upside down, and he's seen, and now he's walking, he's moving from that. So, that kind of growth, whatever the circumstances are, it takes sacrifice, it's self-sacrifice. That may be, not just for ourselves, but from the fact that we want to take what we've learnt and help others with that. There's that aspect to it. The tower sits between Hod and Netzach, kind of there below the heart. We saw that before, I think. And these are the experiences that lead to this shattering of ourself, of who we thought we were. It's the shattering of our illusions, and our experiences. And it's in that we get that wisdom, we surrender to it, and we take the process of healing. And that's sometimes, a dimly lit way, self-sacrifice, when we're walking that way. But that, learning to see that lower nature through those tower moments that bring us to this and this disillusion of ego, it's these destructive forces. Again, this sits between the devil, Hod, the 8, and the heart, Sephirot. So once we're walking from that, we're confronting that, the destructive forces within us or without of us, you know. And the other thing is, I see this guy, he's dressed in red. He has a red cape, he has red boots. That's the root chakra. So he's dealing with that kind of, that lower nature, the roots of his issues, really. But I think as well, he's got a realization that he's rooted in the all. His root and his crown are one entity. He's rooted in divinity. So he's moving beyond and reflecting on his loss, mourning the loss of the fives, but he knows that there's a path greater than purely service to himself. This is kind of can depict a service to yourself, it from your lower nature. So he's seen these chains and he's taken them off his neck. He's on his way. So they're my reflections on those. I pulled this card at random, and it's card 31, Ally in Disguise, discovering the hard to find blessing, which is beautiful for Hod of Gevurah. The card says it's actually from stage 7, the road of trials. So yeah, these two are trials, loss, walking away, submitting. And it says, as you advance along your journey, prepare to encounter all types of people and circumstance. There will be those who start off as allies and turn out to be otherwise, you know, which can bring you to that 5 of Cups moment. And there are those you judge, the judge of the 5, as enemies who would become the greatest instigators of your spiritual growth. So it's like that everything and everyone that we encounter is an ally in disguise. So in that sense, there's no such thing as a true enemy. The most difficult challenges that we meet can teach us the most valuable lessons. It's as simple as that. It's a matter of perspective. And yeah, I'm not saying that journey is easy. It is really hard. It's this, you know, even when you come to a point where you want to heal, there's a sacrifice in healing. There just is. It's just how it is. It's not an easy path, but it is so much better than this. Staying in judgmentalism, staying in a sense of victimhood, that life just happens to me. It's a powerless place. It's a stuck in the past. Yeah, so they're my messages. What I'm going to do now is I am going to pull us today just some extra oh, that just fell. I didn't shuffle properly. I'm going to pull us some cards. I haven't got the chakra cards today. I just thought I'd pull us some messages from the Waite deck. But yeah, it's just this kind of submission to the greater cycles. And the all, you know, the all we can have, and the wisdom and understanding that comes from it can, you know, be spectacular. Even if you don't feel it while you're hanging upside down, or you're, you know, sitting there in the midst of it, or even in the process of healing. So we got the 6 of Wands, High Priestess, and we got the 9 of Swords. So yeah, here we have it. This is very similar to your 5. It's your 9 of Swords, the mental body. It's the sitting in that difficulty, in the trauma, that trauma, you know, where you can't sleep at night, where you're just, your head's going berserk. But this is, you know, this is victory. This is a victory in perception and understanding. It's like you're raised up. You're taken by the white charger and you're raised up. It's a victorious picture. The other thing about this picture I like, this reminds me of the maypole, which is the, you know, the ring of flowers, which is Bel in the Beltane, Bel the goddess, and it's the green man wand. So it's that kind of union. So this guy, number 6, is Sephirot the heart. He's moved on from that 5 of cups, and he's, you know, he's on his horse. He's got a level of victory there. So it does come. High priestess, again, she's, you know, sat between the duality of life, and she's, you know, the energy raises the consciousness to see behind the actual experience, behind the tower moment, behind the being changed, behind the experiences that have hurt, behind the healing. That is what brings healing. So there we have it. So you can raise out of those difficult challenges and places, and they're actually there to bring us wisdom, understanding, compassion, to raise us up, not to hammer us down. So there you go. Lots of love to you all, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.